Mr. Palmer, you're recognized for 5 minutes.
Thank you, Madam Chairman. Mr. Satterwhite, based on your experience with Cummings, do you think a single energy solution like going all electric will be able to meet the various needs of your customers?
Thank you for the question, Congressman. No, I do not.
Do you think consumers have some needs that are better served by traditional sources and some demands that are better served by electric? Is there some balance there?
I believe so, specifically today. As I've said a couple times, I think the future is uncertain, but today I think there are certain applications where battery electric technology is capable, available, and economic, not all. How that changes over the future, I think, is what makes my life interesting and my day job very interesting. Will the right technology for the future be cleaner diesel, natural gas, fuel cells, battery electric? This is what we work on every day, and frankly, there isn't an answer right now.
We build CNG-powered trucks at Autocar in my district for trash trucks, and obviously their power demands for those type of trucks are smaller than some of our bigger freight transfer trucks. And I do have some concerns about this effort to go to 100% renewable and how that would impact not only the reliability of the system, but also the cost for electric vehicles. It's not free.
It is not free, and I would say that the customers that I talk to share those concerns. Most of the customers I speak with have an interest in figuring out how to get to a lower carbon, a lower polluting operation of their own, and yet they're also worried about, is the technology ready, is it appropriate for them? And in the meantime, we in the industry continue to make improvements to the diesel engine, improvements to the natural gas engine, which continue to take carbon out of the air and reduce pollution on an annual basis through working with the EPA and CARB.
Well, it's not going to completely remove carbon from even if we go to 100% renewables and 100% electric vehicles, it's not going to completely remove carbon from the atmosphere. I want to talk about another aspect of this, and I think Congressman Armstrong touched on it a little bit, and that is the weight aspect of this. And I'm concerned about going to pilotless vehicles and how that's going to impact our infrastructure, because most of us, and I know nobody in this room texts while they drive, but even if you're not distracted, you're varying your position in a lane. You change lanes, but even if you stay in the same lane, you don't stay in the same spot. If we add to the weight of freight vehicles and we go to pilotless vehicles, they're going to be in one spot, and it's going to basically rut the aggregate that we're now using. Do you see that as an issue, a problem, particularly in your industry?
Sir, I'm afraid you may have gotten out of my area of expertise in terms of trucks and roads. I don't know. I think to the earlier Congressman's comment, I do think the infrastructure of this country, the roads in particular, will need to be addressed, and heavier trucks definitely will have an impact at some point. I am not an expert and really able to comment on exactly how that's going to happen.
It's something that I've been focused on, been working on down at Auburn University. They've got a center where they're testing various types of aggregate. They've got a big test track. And one of the interesting things is that one of my concerns is how do we clean up the coal ash, and they're using coal ash now as part of the aggregate. You don't lose any of the heavy metals. They don't leach into the ground, but it hardens the asphalt, and I think that's going to be a big deal. As of today, and this will be my last question, there are more than 30 counties in California that are out of compliance with not just one, but multiple federal air quality standards in the Clean Air Act, despite all of the regulations that California has in place. There are numerous other California counties that are in violation of one of the air quality standards, and many have been out of compliance for decades, and it's unclear when, if ever, some will come into compliance. For reference, Alabama does not have a single county out of compliance. So my question would be, does it make sense to apply more regulations to the transportation industry when that doesn't appear to be working in heavily regulated states like California? And this is EPA data here, I have here.
I think it's a responsibility of industry, and Cummins sees it as a responsibility of industry to continue to improve technology, to have better outcomes for all American citizens. I do think there is scope, and the EPA is appropriate to continue to push the industry on what it's capable of, and asking us to deliver better for the American people across the country.
Be smarter. I yield back.